Welcome to Charity Therapy, a podcast from Birkin Law about building better nonprofits. I'm your host, Jess Birkin. Hey, Megan.
Hey, Jess. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I'm still sort of tired from volunteering at the elections all day this week.
Yeah, that was a big day.
Man, I'm telling you, if you are a poll worker, election judge, or whatever they call it in your state, hats off to you, because that is a long ass day. You get there at 6 a.m. and you don't leave until at least an hour after the polls close, because there's so much procedure to tying it all out and sending it to the state. So holy buckets. I feel like
it's a long day.
It's a good volunteer gig, though. We need more people to do it.
We love you and we thank you for it.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, Jess, I was just talking with a nonprofit executive director the other day, and she was giving us the compliment, telling us that it was how easy and nice it was to work with you, because before she had really only ever worked with pro bono attorneys, and it was a nightmare to try to wrangle the cats and get everybody moving in the right direction. And it's obviously a really great compliment, but I couldn't help but think, like, that's kind of what happens when you're relying on free help only.
Yeah, so true, right?
Yeah,
I always love.
Can be very painful.
I can never get enough compliments from clients, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, you absolutely get what you pay for, right? Because, I mean, look, it all boils down to this. Like, nonprofits are still businesses. And the thing is, being a nonprofit doesn't magically make you exempt from the realities of running your business. You still have to deal with the same life that every other small business does. And you have a bunch of extra rules and requirements. And it's actually more complicated than a small taxable business, which is why I talk people out of starting nonprofits all the time. The nonprofit's got to be strong and healthy if you're going to make any real headway in any direction, let alone on your mission, right? And nobody is really interested in funding a hobby or a scam. So you really have to do things right. And that means spending money on the important things like GAAP compliant accounting, paying your staff at market rates, and using professional services, not donated services that help you, grow. So, yeah.
Right. Being thrifty is great, but the mentality that every single thing has to be free in the nonprofit sector won't get you very far.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for our first question?
I am.
Jess?
Let's go.
Awesome.
I have a feeling if we're going to be talking about this topic, I'm going to be a little ranty. So fair warning.
Yeah. A little snark might alert here. All right. How does a nonprofit organization justify six-figure compensation packages for their leadership team? I understand the basic argument that a nonprofit should offer competitive compensation to get high-quality talent, but where do you draw the line when executive payroll expenses make up a huge chunk of money going out the door, especially when it's not contributing to a grant or a program? And if that's the case, wouldn't that unrestricted money be better served elsewhere?
Yeah. Okay. So this is a snarky snark alert. What is up with this attitude? Do you really think Apple would have been the same company without Steve Jobs at the helm? Thinking about high-paid actors on TV, would Judge Judy have been a hit show without Judy? No. So what the hell is up with this in the nonprofit sector? Like, leadership matters. And who's running the organization absolutely has an impact on the organization, obviously. And for leadership at a high level, to get top candidates, you're going to have to pay the market rate. And guess what? A CEO or executive director or CFO at a bigger company makes six figures. That's actually not that unreasonable in today's economy. And look, payroll is always the most expensive thing, right? The more staff you have, the more benefits you have, the more all of it, right? You have to have an HR department. You have to to pay fair market salary is always going to feel expensive. And it's just, that's reality. I also have a bone to pick with the statement that the ED or the CEO is not contributing to the grants or programs, who do you think is out there actually creating the relationships with funders and government agencies to get those grants in the door? Usually it's the ED or people in upper leadership. Those are the leaders. They are making the relationships happen. They are typically at the top, and they are typically the top fundraisers in the organization when it comes to grant funds, especially, and definitely when you're liaising with government. So this question gets me so steamed. It's like hard for me to even chill out. Like I can feel my blood pressure rising right now as I'm talking about it. But the reality is I am guessing this questioner has never worked a day in their life in leadership at a nonprofit with a larger org chart, or they would not be thinking this way. And I don't know how we make the value and the work of folks in nonprofit leadership more apparent to people, but it really cannot be overstated how much value good leadership can bring. So this questioner is on my naughty list for the holidays this year.
I would agree with you on that one. All right, let's keep on going. Let's go right into question 2.
Let's stop Jess from ranting.
Yes, exactly. Or maybe just move on to a new rant. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this brings us. I'm a for-profit person now running a nonprofit. I have had no problem getting offers of pro bono services and volunteers, but how do I deal with volunteers and pro bono professionals like lawyers who are great about offering their services, but not so great about delivering them? I'm only now realizing how much I relied on written contracts and legal things in the for-profit world. How can I get these volunteers to complete our work on time and be less contentious with our vendors and partners while they're working on a project?
Lawyers. Gotta love it. Coming in and wrecking stuff. Okay. First off, for purely vocab purposes, the term pro bono, if people don't know, just basically means donated legal services or donated professional services. Just means free. And it's great to get free help, but there's that old saying, you get what you pay for, right? We were just talking about this. And maybe you're getting donated accounting from Uncle Larry. Well, guess what? Your $9.90 might get forgotten about because it's not Uncle Larry's top priority because you're not a real client. They're just like doing you a favor. And it's the last thing on their to-do list every single time. And I have seen that happen way too many times to count with our small nonprofits that we work with. Like, hire a CPA. I mean, frankly, for me, when my friends in like law firm marketing or whatever are like, well, I'll just do it for you. I'm like, no, I am going to pay you because the free help usually means this is my least important thing and there is no accountability because I'm not taking any money for this. I'm always going to put paid work ahead of your work. And so I won't take free help most often because I know that that's what's going to happen. And I've watched nonprofits go through this too. And guess what? Your CPA forgets to file your 990 3 times, you lost your IRS status. And then, the other thing is the free bookkeeping comes from a person who's not an expert in nonprofit accounting. So then your accounting's messed up because they, aren't an expert. And free lawyering is usually from someone who loves your mission, but doesn't deal with nonprofit law all day. Maybe they're a personal injury lawyer, right? Like, okay, yes, you're right. I'm going to be ranting now. So here's the thing. You would not get heart surgery from a brain surgeon, would you? I mean, okay, but what if it was free? You need heart surgery and it's expensive. Well, what if the brain surgeon just said, I'm really passionate about heart health and I would love to help you. I haven't touched a heart since like medical school, but if you'd like, I'd be happy to do that double bypass surgery for you.
Run
no.
away.
Yeah. Your family would literally have an intervention and have you committed. So why do we do this to ourselves in the nonprofit sector? Because we don't want to spend a dime on, quote, overhead. But here's the thing. The infrastructure is what makes your organization grow stronger, raise more money, and avoid wasting time and energy on mistakes and screw-ups and problems. I mean, if you had a restaurant, would you just have your friends and family donate their old household blenders and stuff to you? No. You would invest in professional grade equipment for your professional grade kitchen at your restaurant. Or you would partner with another restaurant and do like pop-up service and share their kitchen until you could. Because being professional and using professional equipment and services matters. And it doesn't matter if you're a nonprofit or not. End rant.
End rant. So, Jess, among all of those mini rants there, what are our takeaways here? What do we need to know about all of this?
I mean, the biggest thing is don't forget that the nonprofit is a business too. And you have the same and actually more legal obligations as any other business. So don't forget that you actually have to run this thing like a company. Not that you have to be corporate in your culture, but that you actually need to respect that you run a nonprofit corporation. And number two, yes, employees are expensive because they add incredible value. So pay for the value that you're getting. And yes, even at the top, that is okay. And then I think third is just at some point, you got to stop running your organization with free samples. Like you wouldn't run a hair salon with free hotel shampoo. So at some point, you need to invest in professionalizing. And, where that is a line that everybody has to cross, but it's got to happen.
Right. Absolutely. It's like looking at the pros and cons. And at one point, the cons of free service outweigh the pros. So.
Right. Well, thanks for being my co-pilot today for this episode of Jess Rants About Nonprofit Stuff.
Anytime. Thanks for having me, Jess.
Folks, if you enjoyed these snarky rants, do me a huge favor. Share this episode with a friend. If you have a question or a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Send me a note online at charitytherapy.show or leave a voice memo by calling 612-208-9120. Thanks for listening. All right, folks, that's our show. Be sure to follow me on Instagram or Twitter at Jess Birkin. We want to hear from you. Send us a message at our website, charitytherapy.show. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter at birkinlaw.com/signup. Charity Therapy is a production of Birkin Law Office, PLLC. Our theme song is by Whalehawk. And remember, folks, this podcast is produced for your entertainment and is not a substitute for actual legal advice.